when I have those downs, it's just like life is, we have phases in life. You
Sure.
can't be winning all the time.
No.
Like, you're going to have those down times, and then you're going to come back up. And I feel like when you have, it's like going into a cocoon, and you're kind of like going through whatever hard things you have to go through. And I feel like God is working on you in those times. So that when you do break out, it's like you're an even bigger butterfly than before. You're doing more bigger things than you were before.
All right, welcome to True Talk. Got a special guest today, Johnna Komara. How you doing, Johnna?
I'm good. How are you, Mike?
Awesome. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, where are you coming in from?
Stuart, Florida.
Okay. All right, not too bad. And congratulations, by the way, you just hit Hall of Fame.
Yes,
so third time in a row, right? I think your first year you were a little over 4. Last year you were up over 900, almost hit 1 million. And then this year you're just over 415, 3 weeks into August. So little behind where you were last year, but still, crazy impressive numbers. What's your goal for the end of the year?
I'd like to hit 1 million again.
Yeah? Okay. All right. And you're doing some recruiting now?
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's actually going very well.
Yeah.
I've kind of committed to it, and it's all just, I'm in the right place, right people, kind of everything's just falling into place. So,
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Why didn't you recruit your first couple of years? Just not a priority?
I just was afraid, I think, of debt and and my ability to lead people.
Got it.
And now I just feel like some kind of shift has happened where I legitimately get energy from helping my agents. So,
Really?
it just pumps me
You
up.
didn't feel that before?
No, because I was so focused on getting myself to a certain place.
Yep. Got it. It's funny, when we started the company, we would always tell agents, partly the reason we told them this was because we didn't have much of an infrastructure as a company yet, but we would tell them, you need to learn how to sell before you recruit, because we can't help your agents. We don't have enough staff members. And if you don't know how to sell, how are you going to teach your agents how to sell? Not that was your plan, but it does help, though, knowing that you've gone out a couple of years, you know how to sell at this level. So now that when you're bringing someone on board, they know that you can help them.
Yeah, it's great. And, that being combined with an agency that also provides all the support and resources, the more support, the better for a new agent. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of that support, is open to anyone. You're talking about, the agents, Frank and Mike File and these guys. We did a True Talk a few weeks ago with both of them, and just talking about what they have available for everybody, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's very generous, spirited environment, which is
good.
Yeah.
Now, you don't come from a sales background, right?
No,
your background, you were a bank teller, right? How long you work at a bank for?
I couldn't take it for more than 6 months.
Really?
That's when I started looking online for something I could do, and then I found insurance.
Got it. How'd you end up at the bank in the first place?
Well, I had a cleaning business, and I had a toddler. So my toddler, he was a baby at the time, so I would bring him to cleaning jobs and wear him on my back.
Got it.
But he got too big, and my back was starting to hurt. And I was I have to, and it was getting hard to just keep up with the bills and everything. Gotcha. So I was just I need a 9 to 5. I need something consistent.
So you kind of did it backwards. You had your own business first, then got a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
How long did you have the cleaning business for?
I would say 2 years.
Yeah. Got it. How'd you get into that? What made you start that?
Well, I just knew that I could charge a decent hourly rate for that kind of work.
Yeah.
And that I was good at it, and it'd be, fairly easy to find clients. So
Gotcha.
I just marketed myself on Facebook and.
Oh, okay. Built it online. And then, so that was, I'm sorry, did you still have the cleaning business when you got the job at the bank?
I pretty much quit doing it, because the job was taking up all my time.
Got it. Were you surprised at how much you didn't like the teller job?
I already kind of knew that I just didn't like working at corporate jobs.
Gotcha.
In general, but once I was there, it was just having people breathing down your neck about every little thing, and being inside these 4 walls was very claustrophobic to me.
Yeah.
Every day in the bank, so I really didn't like it.
A lot of micromanaging going on. So you were there for, you said 6 months total?
I think even less than that.
Even less. How long were you there before you started looking for something else?
Probably 4 or 5 months, 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I found insurance just on Facebook in a millionaire single mom group.
Okay.
Because I was asking, some other mom told me about it, and she told me the kind of money you can make. And I was like, okay, that sounds like something I can do. So I got licensed and quit my teller job, and I went and nannied for a friend for a little while.
Okay.
She was going through a divorce, so I helped her out with her kids.
Gotcha.
And then after that kind of, dissipated, I just went full on with insurance. So I never transitioned out of a job. I just like went full throttle with insurance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that job with us, or did you work at another company first?
The job.
The insurance job.
Oh, I was at another company.
Okay.
First.
How long were you there for?
Just a few months before I learned about FFL.
Got it. Did you do okay there? Or how, Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing decent there. I mean, over there they would celebrate 10 family months.
Okay.
So it was definitely like a slower pace.
Now, were you making money though, more money than you were at the bank and with your cleaning business right off the bat? Or
yeah, I mean, my very first day, I went out in the field,
Yeah.
and I helped like 3 families my
Okay.
first day. So that was I was so excited.
Yeah. How many did you sit with to help 3?
Like 3.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were good off the bat.
Yeah, I did the husband and wife in the first one, and then the second one, another application, and then I think the third one was a no-show or something like that.
Got it.
I don't remember
Why
that.
do you think you had success right off the bat?
I think because I just had like good energy coming into it, and I also had a good mentor that kind of just set me up for success going into it.
Got it. And how long were you at that company for?
Just a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then one of our my upline above my direct upline found out about FFL.
Okay.
And decided to go over under Isaiah Tatamy.
Got it. So they left first. And how long were you there for?
Where?
At the other company.
I think it was like 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you think when they said you got to come over here? Like, were you ready to go, or were you happy with where you were at?
I mean, when he said that we get paid that much more, I was like, well, okay.
What comp were you at the other company?
I think I was at like 65.
Wow. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it transitioned over. Was it a similar lead-based sale, or how were you getting your clients?
I transitioned from mortgage protection, like B leads and stuff like that. Just the mailers to final expense, social media, ILC leads. I guess they weren't ILC at the time, but so yeah, I mean, final expense was like an easier sale.
Was it? Really?
Yeah. So I just rocked with that for a while, and then transitioned back to mortgage protection.
Gotcha. And were you in home when you first started with us? Yeah. What was the transition like going from in home? You went to virtual, right?
Actually, at the old company, I was virtual.
Oh, you were? So you started virtual?
Yes. So I started virtual, and then when I came over here, it was like everybody was still doing it home, and that was, what everybody was saying we should do. So I was like, okay, well, I'll go in home again.
Got it. So you went from virtual to in home to then back to virtual. Which one was, I guess, hardest for you, or the hardest?
I think they're both. They both have their pros and cons, but I think being in the field, honestly, is harder because driving around and is exhausting. Yeah, like getting no-showed and having to drive 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. I'm very happy being a virtual agent.
And you have kids, right? So that's hard. How many kids do you have?
4.
It's hard to manage, and you raise them yourself?
Yeah. I have a full-time nanny.
Full-time nanny. I imagine you probably didn't at the time.
No.
Yeah. What was that like, running around, driving? Because, I did it, but my wife stayed at home, and we only had 1 kid at the time when I was selling, so a lot different. Yeah. But even then, I was gone, most of the week, right?
Right.
What was that like, juggling 4 kids before did you have 4 at the time?
No. I had like 2.
2, okay.
And they were a little bit older, so they were in school or daycare.
Yeah. But it's a lot to manage.
It is a lot to manage, yeah.
What was like your day-to-day like back then?
I would, get them up, going to whatever program or babysitter I had at the moment, and just go drive. I lived always kind of in like smaller towns, so I'd have to drive a little ways to get to where my appointments would be, and just go run my day, and then come back, pick them up, and do the whole dinner
Non-stop.
and bedtime thing, and
Were you having financial success early on?
I wouldn't say success.
Yeah.
I was getting by.
Okay.
Yeah, I was getting by, like paying my bills.
Did you ever question this and think that this was not going to be it, or it was just too much?
Not really.
No.
Not really. I always believed in the opportunity, and even from the very beginning, I just saw what it enabled me to do, to be able to work on my own time.
Yeah.
Even though I was living commission to commission, I was still living in a much nicer house with this job and everything. So it's
you kind of had good perspective.
Yeah.
Have you always had a good mindset, good perspective? Where's that come from?
Yeah, I feel like it comes from like the faith that I have.
Okay.
And just, I've always been a very like positive, optimistic person and like high energy person.
Yeah.
So I feel like that just helps me kind of see the world in a different way, in a more positive light, and like my ability to do things, you know?
Yeah. No, it's so important. We were kind of joking before this, you fake sick, you'll get sick, but whatever you tell yourself, you'll end up believing.
Yeah.
So if you start doing something like this and all you do is tell yourself how hard it is, how you're never going to make it, well, you're never going to make it.
That's true.
So you always had that. And that's hard in the beginning because there's ups and downs. And yeah, you're like successful, it's all relative, right? Mm-hmm. You're paying your bills, but you weren't at the level you are right now. So sometimes it's hard to see that whole, forest through the trees, like where it could get to. But you always had a big belief in this business and yourself. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What I've like seen in my life is, God will get you from point A to point B. Mm-hmm. You go through hard times, you go through those valleys in life, but as long as you just stay consistent in what you're doing and taking your steps forward and you have faith, God will get you to the next place that you're meant to be. Those doors will open up. Yeah. And I've just seen so many doors open up in my life, almost like miraculously, where I'm just like that, couldn't have been anything else but God. Right. It's like, in this business, it's like I meet the people I'm supposed to meet. I get with the people I'm supposed to get to, and it's all in this like divine timing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's pretty amazing.
I feel like I said this a lot on here, but in order to have success with this, you have to have a genuine care for people. Mm-hmm. You can't fake that, right?
Correct.
Where does yours come from?
Well, I'm a very empathetic person. Mm-hmm. Like I really feel people and like have like a lot of compassion for people. Yeah. And I think a lot of that comes from being a Christian and but also just who I am, I think, as a person. Like I just like really just care genuinely and I'm a mother, so I kind of see everybody as like my kids sometimes. Yeah, even my clients, I'm like, let me take care of you.
Right. I mean, but it is what you're doing essentially. In this environment, they are children in a way, right? Like you're the licensed agent, the impact of life insurance, what it's like to not have it, you understand, and they're coming at us almost blind, like they're in that infancy stage when it comes to insurance most of the time, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd imagine that you're not meeting with people that have, millions of dollars of life insurance and they're just going, hey, what can I add to this? It's usually...
Most of them have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. If you had to guess, what percentage of your clients either have no insurance or very minimal?
I would say like 60 to 70%. Yeah, a lot of them.
I think that's most people out there, which it's mind-boggling when you think about insurance, like... You probably have insurance on your phone, your car. You have to if you're driving. You have to have it on your house. The one thing you don't have to have it on legally is yourself. Right. And that's the only one that you're guaranteed to use. You're not guaranteed to get sick. You're not guaranteed to get in a car accident. You're not guaranteed to have, a flood at your house. We all will die. Yeah. And that's the only one that you don't have to have.
And it's really just amazing, like, what these products can do for people's future generations. It's like if everybody had, $200,000 of permanent life insurance, I mean, that's going to change literally the entire next generation.
Absolutely. You've had some death claims?
A couple.
Yeah. Is there one that kind of stands out or a few or?
Yeah, I was just telling Precious, there was one where the husband got insurance, but the wife didn't. Okay. And he thought that he was going to be the first one to go, but then she actually unexpectedly passed away like 2 months later. Wow. And I called him. I was like, what happened? Like, and he was like, I really wish I would have listened to you and got insurance on her too.
So you tried to cover both and they just weren't having it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I appreciate you sharing it because we always share like, the best case scenario, right? I helped this client and they paid off their mortgage and everything was great, but that does happen.
Yeah.
How did you feel, when you found that out?
I just felt like just sad for him. And, it's just eye-opening. I hear those stories. I've heard those stories before, too, where just people die really unexpectedly. And it just makes you really appreciate life and how fragile it is. Mm-hmm. And it also gives you the passion to, like, share with your clients how important this is that we're offering them. And really, like, hey, buddy, like, you're not guaranteed tomorrow. Right. Like, I don't know why you think you're special to be guaranteed, the next 30 to 40 years, but nobody's guaranteed that. Yeah. So, need to get this.
Did that change your approach at all, moving forward into other homes?
I would say I'm a little more aggressive. Yeah. Yeah. Like I'm always actually just trying to improve on being like more aggressive in the most tactful ways possible. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I tell people what they need to hear.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to say things that they could borderline find offensive.
Right. Were you always that way?
No.
No. How did you get to that place? And I ask because that's a key to having, you hit Hall of Fame numbers. Everyone wants to know, like, what leads, what schedule. All that stuff doesn't matter if you don't have this right and if you're not saying the right things in the home, and you have to get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So where did that start for you, and how did you get to that place?
Yeah, that's totally true, because I do have agents messaging me all the time about, like, my leads and stuff. I'm like, the leads are great. They're decent leads. But if you don't know how to talk to these people on the phone, you're not going to book appointments. You're not going to help them get insurance. So what it really comes down to is being able to convey value to them as, like, quickly as possible. So you want to hook them with value, build value as you're talking to them, like, kind of bridge that gap between, them being interested in something and realizing they need it by the amount of value you're giving them throughout the appointment and the connection that you're making with them and showing them that you care about their family.
Yeah. What are some of the things you've said to clients where, day one, Johnna would cringe if I said, hey, say this? Like, what are some things you say that maybe some people think is too much, but it's really not?
Well, the other day I had this guy and his wife, and she had a stay-at-home mom with a baby, and he's the breadwinner. Okay. And he said that he didn't want the insurance. I was like, well, do you have any life insurance? He said no. But he was being very like pushing me off, like did not want to talk about this. And I was like, well, listen, buddy, if something happens to you tomorrow, you and your wife are going to be on the street. Your wife and baby are going to be on the street. I mean, how do you feel about that? Are you okay with this? And he's like, I just don't want it, but, like, I'll say things like that, you know, like.
Yeah. Why not? I mean, it's true, right?
It's true. I'm like, is it not worth it to spend $60 to make sure that if something happens to you, that your baby isn't living in a car?
Yeah. Right. I mean, I remember going, I was sitting at a house once, and this guy, same push, no, I don't need it now. And he had young kids. I said, go get the kids. So what do you mean? Go get the kids and let's explain to them that you don't want to do this. And let's explain to them what's going to happen if you die without coverage. He's like, I don't want to do that. Why? Well, I don't want to get them all upset. Okay, well, what do you think is going to happen when you don't have coverage and you die?
Yeah.
He kind of he ended up doing it, but it's like day one, I would have never said that because I'm like, God, like you said, you think they're going to be offended. Mm-hmm. But I feel like once you start saying, and we're not saying, go out and try to offend your clients. It's not the goal here. But it takes a lot to get a client, out of that comfort zone and really get them to the point where it's like, oh, that's too much. Yeah. A lot of stuff you can say, but I think they have to know that you're actually trying to help them. You can't walk in the door and go, dude, you're going to die. What are you, stupid? You're not getting covered. But you've done some, you built a connection with them. You've built some rapport, but you also, it's why it's dangerous to become a friend in your appointment.
Yeah. Because
you still want to be able to push when you need. Because at the end of the day, we're selling life insurance. We're not selling widgets or vacuums or anything else that, if we don't do our job, the odds of them meeting someone else to talk about life insurance, I think, are slim to none.
Right. That's very true. It's like how many times are you sitting down and talking to somebody about life insurance over Zoom or on a phone call? It's like, yeah. So it's like them talking to us is extremely important in that moment that we can, help them how they need to be helped. It's like if you go to the doctor and the doctor says you have cancer, you need chemo, and then you're like, oh, I don't want chemo. Right. And then the doctor's like, okay, we'll see you later. Like, no.
They're going to sit you down and say what needs to be said,
Yeah.
I don't want the doctor who has, the best bedside manner. I don't want the one that's going to shoot me straight. Mm-hmm. If you don't do this, you're going to die soon. Oh, shit, maybe I should start doing that then.
Right.
And I think that's when, you do this business and it becomes about something more than you, right? Like, and we'll talk about good stuff like making money, having fun, all that's great. Like, we are here to make money, right? I mean, you didn't go to get a job because you didn't want to get paid, but it's a society we live in. You have to make money, support your family, but at the end of the day, if you put your clients first, the money becomes a byproduct. Mm-hmm. 100%. Like when you first started, were you more focused on the money or helping people? Honestly.
I was more focused on like getting my family to a good place financially. Yeah.
Which is normal.
Mm-hmm.
But what's funny is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm willing to bet that once you started focusing more on the clients, you started doing better for your family.
For sure.
It's weird, right? Because, I mean, people don't come to us like independently wealthy, you know, like, hey, I'm a multimillionaire, Mike. I feel like selling life insurance in my downtime. That doesn't happen, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing recruiting now. Most people come to us in a bad spot. Is that fair? And when you're in a bad spot, all you're thinking about is how to get out of that spot.
Yeah.
But it's like once you can stop doing this and look over there at your clients and you do it the right way, you can move out of that.
Yeah, 100%.
How long do you think it took to where you figured that out, where it's like, if I put my client first, I'll help me and my family?
I would say after probably like 2 years.
Really?
Yeah, where I really started making it about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What changed?
I just realized, you know, it was like an evolution of me just like realizing like I get more out of this, like financially and also like just overall, you know, in any way, like I get more out of it by, you know, being more like a consultant for them and like being the person there that's like helping them, you know, take care of their family. Yeah. So yeah, it's much more gratifying when you approach your job like that in this industry.
It's like the whole, you know, how many families did you help? It's very intentional, the wording. It's not, you know, well, that's just how we talk about. No, it's you actually help that family. Like, yes, you sold the policy. Yes, there was a premium. Yes, there was a commission involved. But at the end of the day, what you accomplished was you helped the family. Yeah. You took a family who had no life insurance, minimal life insurance, and you put something in place for that. Not if, when that individual passes, there's money there.
Yeah.
So you talked about the one death claim where, well, not a death claim, but the spouse that passed that didn't have insurance. What about, do you remember any where the policy paid and the impact it had on the family?
I did have a policy payout. I did call the lady, but she didn't answer. So I haven't had that.
So you haven't had that experience yet, yeah. But knowing that they got the money and knowing you did your job, I mean, how's that feel?
That feels good. Yeah. Yeah, it feels good. And, you know, I think a lot of times, I know I've gone back and forth with this even recently, you know, just concerned that like, oh, maybe because everybody thinks insurance carriers are scamming people and things like that. And I'm just like, well, are they? So, and that's why it was really great being on the producer cruise, because now I'm like sitting down having sushi with like, you know, Jeremy and Lindsay at Americo and like asking them like, okay, are most of these actually paying out? And they're like, of course, yes. Like, you know, and it's like I'm getting the information that I need to get that makes me feel even more confident in what I'm doing, to know that I actually really am helping these people and I'm not just selling them like scammy products to get commissions, right? It's like, no, these are actually A-rated insurance carriers that do their due diligence and pay out when it's appropriate for them to pay out.
Absolutely. I want to talk about results a little bit, and just be clear if you're watching, these are Johnna's results. These are what she was able to accomplish. I'm not saying you can have these results. Matter of fact, I'm probably saying you probably won't. I mean, you've recruited a lot of people. The odds that they're going to come out and do what you're doing doesn't always happen. So I just kind of, you know, as a disclaimer, if you will.
Yeah, correct.
But you're over 400,000 sold this year, right? Forget about, you know, the actual number amount, but what is you selling at that level year in and year out, 3 years in a row now? What has that done for you and your family?
It's been so good for us, like just the freedom that I have with my kids to do whatever. I mean, I'm very committed to my work schedule. Yeah. I work 60 hours a week minimum, you know, but it's like if I have to take a day off, I can. If I want to take them on a vacation, I can. It's like I have complete control of like what goes on in our life on the day-to-day basis. Like I have a pool in my backyard for them where they swim and they're happy, and like, you know, we have fruit trees, and it's just we have a nice house and life. And I bought a golf cart that has like 6 seats and, you know, like a lifted wheels or whatever. And it's super fun. Like we get to drive around the neighborhood in the golf cart and, you know, just enjoy things that we wouldn't get to enjoy.
Yeah. I think the key you nailed it was the freedom.
Yeah.
Like, and that doesn't mean freedom doesn't mean you just hang out and do nothing and spend money all like. Notice she said I still work 60 hours a week, right? But because that's what got you here.
Right.
It's funny, you get some people, you know, they start making money and it's like then they take the foot off the gas. Like, I don't want to work as much. I got money in the bank. Like, keep that mentality and see how long you have that money in the bank. Yeah. Because kids are expensive.
They are
so is life.
Extremely expensive.
Yes, and you got 4. I got 4. Yeah. I know what it's like. Do your kids notice the difference?
They do. I mean, you know, they're not maybe they're a little spoiled, but they get everything that they want. They're good
Yeah,
kids.
I mean, what are you going to do?
They deserve it. They're good kids.
Absolutely.
You know, they really are good kids, but they love it. You know, it's like I have a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old, and the fact that I can just be home with them, it's like I can hear everything that's going on, you know, with my nanny, and like she's taking good care of them. I can train her to take care of my kids exactly how I want them to be taken care of because I'm always there. You know what I mean? And it's like if they're crying or they need me or they just miss me, I can go walk out there and hug them on the couch for 10 minutes. You know what I mean? And that is so priceless to me.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
So how do you manage that being at home? Because it's one thing, like when I was in the field, I left. So regardless of what was going on, I wasn't there. I was out running appointments. Being in the home, now I know you have an office at your house?
I actually don't because I have 4 kids. So, you know, I need more bedrooms in my house. So
So where do you do your sales?
In my bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah, with a, you know, a virtual background on Zoom.
Gotcha. And then how do you separate your work time? Because it's hard with them right there, right? Like, how do you set those boundaries?
It's actually not really too difficult for me because my nanny just has it all under control for me. So I just go in my room and my kids know I'm like working in there. Sometimes they'll try to like bang on my door. I had a lock that they could, you know, unlock. So I had to install like a overhead lock so that they can't come in. But I think it humanizes me to my clients when my kids interrupt.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes I'll just, if they're crying outside my door, I'll let them come in and sit on my lap while I'm working with a client.
Yeah.
And they're, oh, your baby is so cute.
Yeah, they don't mind because they probably have kids too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you could make things an issue, a problem, or worry about them, or you could not. And you're right either way, right? Like
I always sold more insurance when I had my kids.
Really?
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Not surprised. I mean, most of our clients have kids, right? And like you said, it does humanize you because I think there's still a stigma in the industry. Like insurance agent has a bad rep.
Yeah.
Because kind of like what you said about the carriers, you don't know. Some of them are good, some of them are not. There's been a lot of bad agents because, I mean, you've taken the test. Just about anyone can pass the life insurance test.
True.
Right? And you pay. It doesn't cost a lot. You pay online. A lot of companies pay for it. So it's easy to get a license.
Yeah.
Which then it sounds like a get-rich-quick scheme.
Right.
So it does attract a lot of the wrong people, unfortunately, which then gives a bad rep for people like you. Like I remember going in the home and like before I even said hello, like they're looking at me cross-eyed just because I'm selling life insurance.
Yeah.
You know?
And that is something that I tell people that I meet with almost every time I'm on the call. Yeah. I'm like, look, there's a lot of rookie agents out there that don't know what they're doing. They're broke trying to get commissions. That's not me. I've been doing this for 6 years. I'm very successful in what I do, and I know how to help you the best because I already know what all the best things are out there and the best way that I can help you.
Yeah.
And I actually care too. Like I tell people that, and they really appreciate hearing that.
Right. Yeah, don't dance around it. It's a pink elephant in the room. Like we know that there are a lot of, you know, shitty agents out there. Especially in the past, like it has a bad rep. You tell the average person you sell insurance, they almost like roll their eyes, like, dude, like relax.
Yeah,
I'm not the old guy in the suit with pie charts and trying to take every dollar that you guys have. Like it's a lot different now, and that's a stigma, I guess, that is still there to an extent.
Yeah.
But doing things like that, like humanizing yourself, is, I mean, whether it's with kids, whether it's with humor, whatever it is, but it's connecting with your client that allows you to help as many as you do. And then, I mean, work at like what you said, 60 hours a week. What's that look like? What are you doing for 60 hours a week? How's your schedule set up?
So I usually go to my gym class in the mornings at like 8:30. Then I come back and I'm just jumping right into my appointments. Okay. So my appointments.
You book in your own? You have a dialer?
I have 2 dialers.
Okay.
So I don't book any of my appointments anymore.
Yeah. What you did before.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, yeah, I always ask anyone who has a dialer this because I believe this. You should not, I'm going to say you can do whatever you want. You should not hire a dialer unless you are good at dialing yourself.
100%. And most dialers, I mean, a lot of them are going to suck.
Yeah.
And, I was very blessed. Like I said, before, when you have faith in God and you're a positive person and you do good things, in your life, you're going to attract good people.
Right.
And that even was my dialers for me. Like I attracted very good dialers.
Okay.
Like I didn't have to do like a whole lot of training with them to get them to where I needed them to be.
Yeah.
I did train them consistently every week, on Zoom, sending them voice notes on WhatsApp of like, making them tell me all the objections they were coming across so I could help them get better. But just very good work ethic, very good people who like are like my cheerleaders, like my dialers. They're amazing. Like they're my team. But yeah, for a new agent, I mean, you really do have to have cash flow to be able to afford, you know, a dialer, because there is going to be, you're going to invest in them for a couple months before they get up to speed.
Right.
You know, you're going to have to pay them.
Yep.
When they're not really booking you a lot of appointments. And also, just because you hire a dialer, if you are ready to hire a dialer, that doesn't mean you just stop dialing yourself. You need to dial. Yeah. You need to know how many appointments you need per day. And if it's virtual, I would say 10 to 12 minimum.
Okay.
12 minimum.
12 minimum. So that's what you're doing still?
No, I do more than that.
You do more. What's
I do
your
like
minimum
20
per day?
appointments a day.
Really? Mm-hmm. Every half hour? How often do you book them?
I haven't booked every 45 minutes, but I double book them too.
Got it. Because the show rate's not great.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your show rate, if you had to guess, or do you know your numbers that well?
I don't know my numbers that well. I'm not much of a numbers person, but I would say about 50% is accurate.
Okay. That's pretty much what I hear. So you're double booking every 45 minutes. And, you know, I'm asking like if I'm a new agent, don't know anything, because people would go, you know, well, what if you miss an appointment? What if you book one and someone else is waiting? What do you do then?
As long as you're writing insurance, you're good. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like if you're writing insurance, don't worry about it. Like send them a text. If they're interested, they'll wait for you.
Correct.
You know?
And if they're not, you move on to the next one. It's almost more of a numbers game when you're doing virtual telesales. Like when we're out, you know, in the field, if I set 10 appointments, I expect 10 to be there. That's always not going to happen. But if one or two's not there, then I'm doing something good. Mm-hmm. If I book 10 appointments and 5 are not there, you know, if I'm in person, something's wrong with my script.
Yeah.
With telesales, virtual, it's a little different. You accept that. Like anything less than 50, you'd probably think there's a problem, right? Like if you had 20 appointments booked and 3 showed up, we need to talk to these dialers and find out what the hell's going on. Yeah. But 50%, you're good. But then you just stack the deck in your favor. So you're doing that. How many days a week are you actually running appointments? Or
5.
5. Yeah. Okay. Monday through Friday. And
Tuesday through Saturday.
Okay. Tuesday. Why is that schedule?
Saturday, people are home. Yeah. You know, Mondays, I feel like in general are kind of chaotic for people. Yeah. So I feel like, I mean, I know I'm sure people probably have great success selling insurance on Mondays, but I know me, like when I was working a 9 to 5 and it was Monday, I'm not really trying to deal with a bunch of other things besides my job.
Well, so we talked about it. People convince themselves that Monday's like a bad day for some reason. You know, I got a case of the Mondays. Like, dude, it's just a calendar people made years ago. You don't even know if it's Monday. It's just a day someone named. It doesn't mean it's going to be a bad, but that's the mentality, right?
Yeah. And I kind of feel like a boss.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to work on Mondays. So I'm just like, okay, you guys can all go to work. I'm going to, just have my Mondays are like my reset day. Like I have my cleaners come, the landscapers come, like I go get a massage, get my nails done. You know.
So Monday's a fun day for you.
I go to the beach and I do, now that I'm recruiting, I'm doing interviews and stuff too. So. Okay.
So a case of the Mondays for you is actually fun. But I mean, it's like whatever works. If it works for you, keep doing it. That's why I love, I forget who was here. It's like a year ago. Like, Sean gave me the best business advice ever. He's like, really, what was it? He said that if it's working, to keep doing it. If it's not, to change it. Like, it's that simple, though.
That's simple.
If it works for you, have at it. Someone may go, hey, Monday's my best production day. Cool, keep going. We started running weekends years ago. It's back when we started, everyone was like Monday through Friday. Like, well, what about Saturday, Sunday? Oh, you don't run that. It's the weekends. We're like, but everyone's home. Yeah. Like, so we ran production in 2 days that people ran over the course of a week. Mm-hmm. It's just whatever you tell yourself you're going to believe, Yeah. Mindset's key. Now, sounds like you have all the success in the world, right? But there's ups and downs. Yeah. How do you manage the downs?
I mean, they can be really hard. It's like, I'm a human being too.
Sure.
Despite my numbers, it's like I went through, for the first quarter of this year, like I'm behind right now with my numbers where, with what my goals are for the year. And, I went through, a couple of transitions in the beginning of the year, and that really, took a toll on like my feeling good. You know, like I was feeling really burnt out with running mortgage protection appointments on Zoom. I was just like, I don't want to do this right now.
So you were only doing mortgage prior to this year?
I've been doing mortgage protection solely for like 3 years. Okay. But I was just burnt out on it. I wasn't feeling it. I was, feeling irritated with just people. And, but then, I got myself into a better position and, feeling like I was in the right space, and everything just kind of took off again. And now I'm back to, 40 families a week. Yeah. On most weeks.
Got it. And right now, what are you running?
Just all mortgage.
All mortgage
Same
still.
thing.
Yeah, got it.
My system works. I'm not changing it.
Yeah. But you don't feel burned out anymore?
No.
Why?
Because I'm making money again.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
But it's funny. I mean, you have a little speed bump, take your foot off the gas a little bit, and then it kind of snowballs, right?
Yeah. I mean, like half of the money in savings went down.
Yeah.
Like now I'm like rebuilding my account again. And that's just the reality of it. But like, I mean, it's just, I already know what I'm capable of doing based off of like what I've done. So I don't really get that scared anymore.
Yeah.
When I have those downs, it's just like, life is we have phases in life. You
Sure.
can't be winning all the time.
No.
Like you're gonna have those down times, and then you're gonna come back up. And I feel like when you have, it's like going into a cocoon, and you're kind of like going through whatever hard things you have to go through. And I feel like God is working on you in those times. So that when you do break out, it's like you're an even bigger butterfly than before, you're doing more bigger things than you were before.
So you feel like you were in that cocoon early in the year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How's it feel now to be out of it?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Like I have like new business partners coming on, and we have some like really cool like different things planned for ways to do this business that I don't think people have ever even seen before. So we're working on some cool stuff, and like I just feel really good about like recruiting and like my ability to be a leader, and like the support that I have within, FFL National with Frank and Jamie and Mike, and I just feel like I'm in such a good place now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So your goal is to hit $1 million this year, personally, right? You said it right here on True Talk, so I'm going to hold you to it.
I know.
What about from a team standpoint? I know you say you have 20 agents getting going. Are they selling now? What are you guys at for team volume? Monthly?
Well, a lot of them are still in pre-licensing,
okay. So
we're not quite there yet. I did bring on a team that already has like 20 people just recently. So I'm thinking that, we'll be getting up to like 250 to 300 families a month here pretty soon.
Got it. Cool. Set you up for a nice VP bonus. Yeah. You've not had a VP bonus yet.
I've had one before.
One really?
I've had like one or two.
Okay. So you had them and then lost them.
Yeah.
Okay. You want them back? Mm-hmm. And you're getting a producer bonus, obviously.
Yeah.
You mentioned you went on the 2 cruises. How are those?
They're great.
Yeah.
I love the cruises. I love connecting with people and making new friends who are doing the same thing that I'm doing, and it's fun. I got to like connect with Sean and like, just like people that I it's important to me to like foster connections with, you know what I mean? So it's great. I mean, it just makes you, the more connected you feel to your community, your work community, I feel like the more you'll do better.
Yeah. So. Yeah, absolutely. That's why convention's so important. You've been to all the conventions since you've been here?
Not all of them.
No,
I've been to the last 2.
The last 2, okay.
Yeah.
What did you think, or what was your biggest takeaway from the last event?
The last one.
Because that was kind of when you were in your, as you put it, your cocoon stage, right? Like that was early February this year.
It was right before it.
Okay. So everything was still going smooth, and then, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
But yeah, I mean, convention, I really loved the convention center that we went to in Dallas.
Good. We'll be back there. So.
Yeah, that was really nice. It's definitely a better like feeling than the stadium.
So you went to one at the stadium, and then you went to the convention. Yeah, the stadium was.
It was just too big.
It was. Yeah. Well, we did it the first year because of 2020 and everything, and we had to space everybody out, right? So we're like, well, let's just get a stadium, right? You can't get more spaced out than that.
Yeah.
And it made sense the first year.
It made sense. Yep.
But then we booked 2 years. We're like, yeah, we'll do it again. The second year was like, this kind of sucks, actually.
Right.
But yeah, I really like the convention center. Feel better.
Yeah, but I have to say, listening to David Goggins speak,
and
I listened to his audiobook and just like what he's gone through, and I like just that power that comes from like going through hard things. If you can actually push through the hard things, and it like I'm about to cry because it's just so profound,
right? And we all go through shit. I mean, it's like what I love about David Goggins though is like you read and hear the stuff he went through. And you're like, you know what am I sitting here doing? Feel sorry for myself for like, because there's always someone that's gone through worse, right? It doesn't mean it's here, trauma shame or whatnot, but there's always someone going through something either equally as bad or worse. And it's like, what do you want? You can sit here and feel bad for yourself, or we get one shot to do this. So why not pick it up and keep moving forward? And not to say that, things don't affect you, but I mean, like we're adults, you got kids, someone's got to take care of the kids, right?
Yeah.
was talking to a guy who, a friend of his was in an accident recently, and he's like, so he's like, my buddy asked me, like, what are you going to do? He's like, I'm going to get up and go to work. Like, I can't do anything about what happened. Like, I feel sorry for it, but I'm going to get up and go to work because I take care of my family. Yeah.
It's like you have to get up, slap yourself a few times, and, put on your armor and go to war. Like, it's like you're literally going to war.
Absolutely.
For your life, the life that you want to have and give to your family.
Yep. Because before you know, I mean, you think about, you could have been stuck at the bank, 4 or 5 years later, miserable, because there's people there. I'm sure you met them when you worked there that have been there for years, decades even.
Decades.
They complain about it, right? You meet them by the water cooler. Oh, they're complaining about everything. The boss sucks. This sucks. The water sucks. Everything sucks.
Who wants to live like that?
Dude, why do you still work here?
Yeah.
Go work somewhere else. But they never take that shot because it's a risk, right? I mean, even doing this, it's like you said, you're your own boss. It's great now, but in the beginning, you're your own boss. So if you're not out there generating income, there's no money coming in.
Yeah.
That's you had your business prior, so you were kind of used to that. But was that scary at all, knowing that you were leaving a weekly paycheck for commission-based sales with young kids?
Well, when I had that first day where I went out and wrote business my first day, that was a huge confidence booster for me. So, like, there were times where it felt, unstable if I wasn't getting sales. But I would say it was always consistent enough that I wasn't ever too worried.
But you always kept your work ethic really high. And that's the key. That's like a lot of people miss out. You get people, like any business, people that come, join, leave, and then, the ones that leave always have all the, it's so bad. I would love to, dude, show me the hours that you worked before you go complain.
Yeah.
Show me how much time you actually put in.
Right.
Not sitting there analyzing the leads or complaining to your buddy or whatever the hell, but how much time did you actually spend on the phone booking appointments and in the home or on virtual or on the phone selling policies? Mm-hmm. It's work.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless of how good you are with people, how excited you are, how much you believe in you, if you didn't put in those 60 hours a week, and you're not exaggerating, you're not here, fluffing your hours because you're on a podcast, like you put in 60 hours a week.
Yeah. Last year it was like 70.
70. Mm-hmm. Do your kids ever go, Mom, you work too much? No. Why? Do you have a conversation? Like, do they understand what you're doing?
They do. Yeah. And I let them know like what my goal is. My goal is to have complete freedom with them, and I think they're just happy that I'm home. You know what I mean? Like they're like, Mom's right there if I need her. Like they like to do their own thing anyways, Yeah.
So, how old are your kids now?
14. My daughter's 14. My son is almost 8. Okay. And then I have a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Wow. You said you've been on some vacations with them. What's been your favorite vacation?
Well, I took my older 2 on the cruise. Okay. And that was really fun. Cool. Yeah. And I don't know, where else did we go? We haven't really gone a ton of places yet, but it's like I take them, if I want to take them over to Sarasota for a weekend or it's just I have the flexibility. Yeah. It's like
just the ability to do that. I mean, a lot of people can't, that's awesome. Cool.
The Keys, Florida Keys.
Yeah. They like the Keys. Mm-hmm. That's cool. Yeah, so like Florida's like a vacation in itself. So, you know, you come up here, you have to go somewhere for vacation. Florida, you just drive, an hour
I'm very
one way.
content just like being in my town. Like it's this very cute little beach town, and we have gorgeous beaches. Yeah, and
that's awesome.
It's really fun.
Good stuff. What would you say to someone who's watching and maybe they're 50-50 on going to convention, new agent? Because it's a lot for a new agent. Costs money, right? Tickets $99. Not all. And that's a small part. You got to fly down there. You got to get rooms, the whole deal. But there's new agents that go, Johnna, I'm just brand new. I've not sold anything yet. I really don't want to. What would you say to someone who's on the fence?
I would say anything that you invest into yourself or into this business is going to pay off. And that includes, convention and events and education. And obviously, buying your leads, all that stuff is going to pay off as long as you're, doing what you're supposed to do with that investment, And as far as getting there, I mean, you have to, I think with this business, one of the reasons why I've been successful is because I have a very strong, solution based mindset. It's like I'm always looking for a solution, and there's always a solution.
Right.
So it's like even with that, it's like when I couldn't necessarily afford plane tickets, what I do, I figured out a solution. Oh, you can go to Priceline and use a firm to buy your ticket and your hotel. Problem solved.
Yep. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's that all. If there's a will, there's a way.
Yes,
but,
exactly.
But there is. Like, you can figure it out. And you also can figure out how not to go. Mm-hmm. And I like how you put it. It's an investment in yourself. Because it is. You're like, well, no, it's investment in company. Dude, listen, there's going to be thousands of agents there. If you're not there, we won't notice.
Yeah.
No offense. The event's going on either way.
Right.
So it's like, oh, they're trying to get my money. We don't. There's plenty of agents that will be there. The event's going to happen whether you're there or not. But it is an investment in yourself. Because whether you're there or not, training's going to happen. The guest keynote speakers will be there. Sean will be there. Maybe he'll smash the guitar again. I don't know. All that stuff's going to happen. We're going to hand out awards to people that hit Hall of Fame. That's all going to happen with you or without you.
Yeah.
But if you make that investment in yourself, you're going to be part of it. And like, I don't know anyone that went to a convention, paid attention to the talks, and got worse.
Right.
Like, you're going to improve on something. And you're also going to meet people that, like you mentioned, connecting. Like we were talking about before we even got on here, like Aphrodite, who's local.
Yeah.
It's cool to there's agents all over. So really, wherever you go, you'll be able to connect with someone.
Yeah. And we're like instant best friends.
Really?
And we had so much fun on the cruise. Like, I love that.
Yeah. So you guys met on the cruise.
Yeah, we met on the cruise.
That's awesome.
But we just connected because we're both Greek. We're like, okay.
Yeah. There you go.
Greek sister.
Right? Nice. And we got to have her back. She's doing really well. Mm-hmm. But you get to meet people that are in a similar space that you're in and are kind of fighting the same fight. Yeah. It's like you work with Nash. You work with Dominique a little bit too?
Yeah, he's on.
Like, I've known Dom for years, but it was like we connected similar. Now, he was recruited by Sean, North Carolina. I'm up here in Connecticut. I didn't know Dom. We connected through that, and still like one of my best friends to this day. Like he'll come up, hang out, but it's because we were fighting the same fight.
Yeah.
We were both in our early 20s, both trying to figure it out, both came from no money and trying to not repeat the mistakes of the people around us, and connected through conventions, events, and things like that. So
yeah, the events are great. Convention is great. I think the biggest thing it'll do for a new agent is just give them like some really vital energy.
Yeah.
Like you go and it's like you're hooking up to like this like
Right.
IV of like energy that's just like, okay, let me go full speed ahead with this.
Absolutely.
So that's important.
We'll go to fflconvention.com to register if you haven't already. Well, John, I'd like to wrap with some stuff that has nothing to do with life insurance. So throw some random questions at you. And if you don't like them, blame the people in that room over there because they made them up, not me.
Okay.
Blame Naomi and Precious because they made them up.
Okay.
If you could have any superpower in the world, what would it be?
Any superpower would be to teleport.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Why?
I just
it'd be a cool power, but
I get kind of like anxious from flying.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So I just want to be able, and
That'd
like
be
the
nice.
time it takes, if I can teleport, then I don't have to spend so much time.
There you go.
Love
that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Are you a music fan?
I love music.
You love music. Mm-hmm. What's the one song you can listen to on repeat for the rest of your life?
That's a tough one.
Yeah. See, guys?
That's it, because there's a lot of good songs out there.
You had one. Say we're destroying all the music, and they're like, Johnny, you get to keep one song. What is it?
I would probably listen to, I don't know, I've been listening to like this artist called, I think it's like Tor Minogue, or I don't even know how to say it, but it's just like vibes. Like, it's just like instrumental music that is just like a whole vibe. So I like stuff like that because I feel like sometimes words kind of like bring their own energy into what you're experiencing in that moment. So
Gotcha. You have a favorite movie?
I like the movie 300 a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I did not expect that. Okay.
It's just a movie that
it's a great movie, yeah.
Consistently watch over and over again, like once a year.
Really? Wow. Now I'm just more intrigued about that. Why do you like it so much? I love it, by the way. But
it just like pumps me up. I'm just like, like warrior. Like
I mean,
I like the style. I like the
it looks awesome.
It looks so cool.
Yeah.
And the the King Leonidas is
all right. Well, we'll end on that, But I appreciate you coming up doing this. I really do. And if people are watching, they want to follow you on social media, what platform, what's your handle?
Instagram at Johnna.Komara.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
And then I have an agency page too that I'm getting ready to start posting regular content on.
Cool.
Also.
What's that? Or you don't have it yet?
I think it's Trinity Life Group.
Okay.
I don't even actually 100% know what the name of it is at the moment.
Well, now will be your push to get it going, since you said it here.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming up. I really do.
Thank you.
Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button if you've not already. Share this with all your agents, and you know where to find us every week right here on True Talk. We'll see you next week.